just raised an arm, knew it was over the top by probably a yard or so into the Palace supporters. It's an edgy time. You've played in these occasions, Dean Henderson down there, I noticed, stretching down for the water bottle. He's probably still got some of that smoke in his
in his eyes, throat. Yes. It was incredibly thick at the start of the game, and I'm pretty sure he's okay now. But yeah, these occasions are pretty special. I was very fortunate to have a little wander around earlier into the dressing rooms, and it did come back to me, I've got to say. And for the first time in a long time, I was thinking I wouldn't mind being out there.
Yeah, scored the winning penalty in the shootout in the semi-final back in 2000. I was reminded of that this morning.
Who told you that? It wasn't me, was it?
It was. It was from our BBC colleague Jordan, actually, one of the
well
the
done, Jordan.
editors.
I paid him.
Well done. I imagine that will have got a mention on Football Focus, did it, this morning as well? As the ball goes back to Martinez on the edge of his own box. So as Dion Dublin says, cagey start here. Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 0. That shot from camera, the first time Aston Villa have tested Henderson. And here they are now in possession again. Absolutely dominating the football as it's passed to Cash and then forward to Rodgers. And Rodgers drags it back, but Palace very tight. Mitchell goes down, is able to get the tackle in, puts it out of play just to the right of where Oliver Glasner is waving his arms around. Yeah,
I can see that the whole back four of Palace, what they're doing is they're dropping as deep as they possibly can when one of the Villa's back four pull their leg back to play that ball over the top. They're not allowing the ball in behind because they know Ollie Watkins has the pace on them, so they're really forcing Villa to play short.
Villa still with the ball inside their own half. Unai Emery, what's he doing? He's gone down on one knee and he's got his upturned left hand as though it's like he's tickling a cat.
No one knows what he was doing there on his knees. No one knows.
How strange. Ball forward for Villa. Watkins gets it down. Lacroix forces him back out to the left-hand side. I'm pleased to say that Unai Emery has got back to his feet. And Villa shuffle forward again. Palace with everyone behind the ball. Kamada comes forward to Konza. And then back from Asensio. He's actually dropped very deep on a number of occasions because he's just not seeing the ball. Villa are having most of it in the central third, in their own half. So Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 0. 5:15 kickoff here, 5:30 kickoff in League One. Big day for Wrexham. Charlton also in the shake-up for promotion. So what's the early news there, Adam Cottier?
We've just kicked off here. The atmosphere absolutely incredible. Wrexham will be promoted, but only if they win. Anything less, and it goes to the final day. If Charlton win, they too will have a chance of automatic promotion next Saturday. It is 0-0 here in North Wales.
And we're also keeping an eye on an important match in the National League as well. 5:30 kickoff, Southend 0, Wealdstone 0. It's half-time now at Twickenham with you, James Burridge.
And England 31-21 up. End-to-end rugby, frenetic at times. England have overpowered France, certainly in the first 25 minutes. 5 tries for them, but France have counter-attacked with 3 of their own. Really entertaining. England leading 31-21 after the first 40 minutes.
There's one for Mateta to chase, but that bounces beyond him. And Martinez was in position 3 or 4 yards inside his box just to calmly watch the ball bounce up into his gloves.
Yeah, Ezra's got that in his locker as well. Apart from running with the ball and creating chances and being an incredibly talented footballer, he can pick a pass. And he just spotted Mateta in between the 2 centre-halves, and Mateta couldn't get his touch on the ball. He needed to touch it before it bounced, and it bounced into the keeper's arms. But that's a really, really decent run from him.
In the men's rugby union, it's finished Leicester 40, Harlequins 7. Earlier big win for Bath against Newcastle, 55-19, so that's top against bottom, and Northampton Bristol is just underway. There's no score there yet. Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 0, and Morgan Rodgers goes for a diagonal pass through the middle. It was helped forward by McGinn, who's barely been in the game, but Palace blocked it. Now Mateta marauding forward. Camera puts in the challenge on him near the centre circle. There were defenders either side of him, but it's a yellow card for Camera for that. just too much force, I think Anthony Taylor's decided. Early yellow card for Camara.
Yeah, I mean, Mateta's done great there. He really has. The ball's been rolled into him right on the halfway line. He's evaded the defender behind him. He's used his strength. He's rolled his man. He's now going away from Rodgers, and Camara's had to go to ground. Didn't get the ball. It was a free kick. Not sure if it's a yellow card, but that's really good play by the big centre forward. Got them up the pitch. Got him a free kick in a very good area.
Yeah, he's very impressive, Mateta. 17 goals now this season, with power to add. Superb finish the other night against Arsenal. Kamada takes this free kick, lifts it over the top. It's headed across the Villa penalty area, but nodded away by Digne. Here's Richards, the central defender, the American international, tries to play it off Digne, which has bounced out of play for a throw-in to Palace. Wondered whether it had taken a touch off Richards on the way out, but it hasn't, so it's a throw-in for Palace, which Richards has actually taken. I mean, that must be 7 or 8 yards away from where it went out of play. He's going to wind himself up, so he's further back towards the halfway line. The throw-in comes into the Villa penalty area. Torres gets up, heads that away. Then it's headed further away by Digne. This is the first real pressure Palace have put on the Villa defence. Ball over the top. That's headed up, but not away by Rodgers. Then doesn't clear the penalty area here either. And the ball breaks and bounces for Camara, who's able to chip it away to Rodgers. And Rodgers now with Palace having committed men downfield. Rodgers takes on Mitchell, who did well, actually recovered well. Then Rodgers goes again, and Mitchell clearly puts his arm on the shoulder of Rodgers. Down he goes in the full-back position, and it's a free kick. And a yellow card now for Palace as well, for Tyrick Mitchell.
Yeah, and I think it was actually Rodgers actually took the first touch into the Palace half, right in front of the two managers, and then he slows down, then he goes again, and I think Mitchell just wasn't expecting the increase. Bit of pace there from Rodgers. Arm on his left shoulder, pulls him back, and the arm as well. Rodgers goes down. This is in a very good position in that little box near the corner flag, about 18 yards out. It's going to be an in-swing, I would imagine.
Yes, Asensio is the only candidate now. Tielemans was there as well, but Tielemans has trotted back into the Palace penalty area and is standing near the penalty spot, just next to where there are the remains of a few of the popped balloons. So Asensio to take this, raises his right arm. Just a one-man wall. Eza just pulling up the tops of his socks as he waits for Asensio, waits for the whistle from Anthony Taylor. There it is. Now Asensio to swing it in, as Dion Dublin says. Swings the free kick in, left-footed, and it's headed away powerfully by Richards at the back post, across his own goal, and behind for the first corner of the match.
Yeah.
It's just warming up, Dion.
It is really good ball in from Asensio. It lands right in the middle of the 6-yard box, and it's defended well by Richards. Had to get it right because he was facing his own goal. Lifted it high and over for a corner.
Yeah, after quite a tepid first 15 minutes, now it's just beginning to get going. So the corner, Asensio into the near post, that's headed up. There were two players there, Tielemans and Kamada. Question was, they were both appealing for it, and Tielemans can't believe that Anthony Taylor set it to goal kick. He's running towards him, hopping about and waving his arms, but Anthony Taylor just calmly points to the 6-yard line.
Yeah, I think Tielemans did get something on it, and then he thought, because Kamada was right behind him, he thought Kamada got something on it, but I don't think he did. It went straight out for a goal kick. Referee's done well so far. He's let a few little niggly ones go, which I think is good for the game. 20
minutes to play. Crystal Palace 0. 20 minutes played. Crystal Palace 0. Aston Villa 0. Still Wrexham 0. Charlton 0 in League One. And if you have been out, you haven't heard the issues that have been decided today in what was a hectic 5 Live sport over the past few hours or so. Ipswich Town's relegation has been confirmed. Celtic have been confirmed as champions in Scotland for the 4th season in a row. Their record equalling 55th league title for Celtic, so congratulations to them. I'm sure Chris Sutton will be talking about that on 606 later. Palace coming forward on the right, but Sarr's overhit that by a distance, and it flies away high over the top of Martinez's bar for a goal kick. In the Championship, Cardiff City's relegation was confirmed today, and Plymouth are all but down, despite their great effort. Plymouth and now Hull City are 3rd bottom, while Bristol City and Coventry are still in the playoff places in 5th and 6th. In League One, Cambridge United, I'm sorry, Dion, Cambridge have been relegated today. League Two, Doncaster Rovers and Port Vale, their promotion has been confirmed. Carlisle United are relegated out of the Football League, and in the National League, Barnet have been promoted, so Barnet will be back in the league, promoted as champions. So those are the main issues that have been decided, but all of the details you'll find on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app for the nuances and the detail. Here's McGinn for Villa, turns, sends it forward to Watkins. Did look as though he was offside, but there's no flag yet. And then Palace actually nick it back from Watkins, so Wharton will pass it forward. Eza does well there in the engine room in the midfield. He was challenged from both sides. I thought he might have been fouled, but referee Taylor was right there. The two Villa players coming in either side of him, and he says, play on, Villa.
Yeah, I like that from Anthony Taylor. I think he's looking at the players. Some of the players are going down a little easy. Eze there probably could have got a free kick, but he's not allowing the game to be stop-start. That's why I think the game's picked up with pace and quality.
Villa coming forward again. That was a nice flick infield from Asensio. Then a firm challenge by the Japanese Kamada on Ollie Watkins, who has a look at referee Taylor and says, what about that for a free kick? But that's a throw-in as well.
Yeah, he just frowned at the referee as if to say, go on then, make a decision, and he didn't. He let it go again.
Ollie Watkins just takes up a position on the edge of the area. Started only one of the last 5 Watkins in all competitions, but 2 goals in his last 4. And he obviously said post-match how he felt last weekend after the Newcastle match, but because of Rashford's unavailability today, because he's injured, that means that Watkins was pretty much surefire at the start. Throw-in taken, Villa, Dina with a cross, Asensio tried to flick it on, bounces down, Rodgers with the shot, dragged it. It sat up, bounced up, and he struck it on the volley, sort of knee height, but couldn't get it on target. There were players in between him and the goal. Went for the far post, but hit it wide. Yeah, it was a Luca Dean ball from the left-hand side. He didn't get a flick on at the near post, which I think fooled everybody in the box, and it just fell to Rodgers at the far post. He really needed to go towards it to try and get it at its highest point, but he couldn't. And it was on the half volley. It was really hard to control. But that's the closest we've come to a chance as yet. Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 0. As Villa, there's a challenge, high foot by Eza on Cash near the centre circle. It just bounced up between them, and referee Taylor's giving that as a free kick just for the high foot and the challenge. Cash has gone down, but I think he's okay. He's lying on his back. Whether he did take a boot in the head or the face, well, that's what he's suggesting, with his hands on his face and on his forehead, and he did. He was just caught by the underside of Eza's boot.
Yeah, I think Eza just gets there first. He just toes it away from his head. He actually tries to pull his leg away very quickly. May have caught him with the top of his toe of his boot, but he's okay. Cash is made of strong stuff.
Yes, and it was just a glancing blow. Super League latest, Catalan 0, Wakefield 0, Salford 0, Lee 4, and in that Premiership match, Northampton 0, Bristol 10 is the latest score. And as I say, the Women's Six Nations decider can be heard on Sports Extra. Asensio then to Rodgers, but that comes to nothing, and that's an excellent little swivel centre field for Palace as it's brought away, and then a foul on the halfway line on Kamada, and it's a free kick to Crystal Palace just inside their own half. That Gay is going to waste no time passing back into central defence. Familiar territory now for Mark Gay here at Wembley Stadium, and here's Adam Wharton, one England cap to his name. Adam Wharton, the 21-year-old who has, Dion, played at Wembley before 10 years ago for Salisbury Church of England Primary School in the National Primary School Cup final.
I did actually see that on Football Focus today. That is incredible.
Yeah, they have the pictures as well.
Yeah, they did as well. I think I'd retired by the time he played here, a young boy. That's how old I am, and that's how young he is. But he's been outstanding, by the way, let me tell you. He's some footballer, wants the ball all the time. He's the catalyst for Palace in that middle of the park, and they're always looking for him.
Yeah, he did miss that chunk of the season, Wharton, And you know, he really needed to stay fit this season, didn't he, with the upward curve that he was on after his move from Blackburn. But anyway, he's here, involved in this FA Cup semi-final, and at the moment, Palace on the attack with Mitchell. It's flicked across to the back post where Dino is in position to volley it away from danger for Aston Villa. And listen to this, the Palace supporters, they've brought them all from the Holmesdale Road end of Selhurst Park. You see them there in their black shirts, don't you? One of the loudest football stands in the country when it gets going, and they've brought their noise from South London here to the northwest of the capital, inside Wembley Stadium. Crystal Palace with possession inside the Villa half, and they go back to the halfway line. Never won a major trophy, Crystal Palace, but did win the Zenith Data Systems Cup in 1991. Here at Wembley Stadium, they beat Everton 4-1 after extra time, and it was that Steve Coppell team that reached the FA Cup final in 1990 for the first time and lost in the replay to Manchester United. And I'm really pleased to see Steve Coppell is here today, and he's wearing a Brummie-style flat cap. Did you see it?
I did see him actually. Yes, he's I mean, he's a bit of a legend.
Yeah, great guy, isn't he?
In those Palace parks, and rightly so. He should be here, and he should be wined and dined. He's a bit of a legend.
Yeah, sitting with Alan Smith as well. As Mateta gets away from Konsa, and Mateta tucks it away, but referee Taylor's whistle rules it out after a muscular challenge on Konsa. And there's no offside flag there, so I'm assuming Anthony Taylor's given that for the foul on Konsa.
Yeah, I think that Mateta was possibly a little bit too aggressive with his arms around Konsa. He was actually holding on to him. I think he rolled him and used him to get round. Have a look at this one now. The ball's played into that area, that right wing area. Yeah, he sort of, there's a little tangle of legs. I don't think there's a lot in that. There's not a lot in that at all. Konsa can feel him. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I'm not too sure about that one, I've got to say. May have got away with one there, Villa, I think.
Little contact maybe as they were running together, Konsa and Mateta. As you say, just a little clip of the leg.
Of the foot, yeah, exactly that.
On Konsa's ankle, and down went Konsa. That will be debated by Crystal Palace supporters.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And there has been an opening goal in the 5:30 kickoff in League One at the Racecourse Ground. Wrexham, Adam Cottier.
It's bedlam in here. Wrexham 1, Charlton 0. Ollie Rathbone, a short corner, worked to him outside the box, and he rattled in the right foot shot past the goalkeeper. Wrexham will go up if it stays like this. Wrexham 1, Charlton 0.
Yes, Wrexham's promotion to the Championship could be confirmed today, and they are doing what they have to do. They win, that will confirm the promotion for Wrexham. What a rise. Crystal Palace 0, Aston Villa 0, but that's a big talking point, the ruling out of that Mateta goal, as Torres fails to clear, hit the ball into Sarr, and now Sarr across the edge. To the area, Eza! Right foot shot! What a goal! Swept it high above the dive of Martinez and into the top corner, and Crystal Palace lead Villa. In the semi-final by 1-0. That was quite a goal to grace a big occasion.
I mean, that's the complete opposite to what Palace have been doing. Sarr goes, he sees that Torres isn't quite comfortable on the ball. He actually nicks it off him, puts him under pressure. He turns, he's in the right wing position right now. He drives to the edge of the box. He passes the ball more or less all the way across the 18-yard line into the D. Eza's there. Oh my word, what a strike that is, by the way. Right foot, top left-hand corner, keeper Had no chance. That's the quality that Eze has. Brilliant finish.
Yeah, and really have to give great credit to Sarr there, but what a finish that was from Eze in the talk about a whip on the ball, Dion. You could not want to have, you would not want to catch that any better than he did.
And I think the way that he approaches it as well, he knows the ball's going to get to him, and he doesn't rush to the ball. He takes his time, he gets his foot planted in the correct position, so when the ball arrives at him, he can put as much power into it as he wants to. It's directed perfectly, and it fell to the perfect man.
It was up and over Martinez's dive.
Too much power, John.
But it was, yeah.
It was the power, he just couldn't get to it. I mean, Martinez has got as close as he could, but it's the power of the strike. And the ball from Sarr as well was correct, right pace.
Yeah, and Sarr, great credit to him, because it was Sarr who closed down Pau Torres, who gave the ball away. And then Sarr, who still had a lot to do on the right wing. Excellent work from him to move infield and roll it perfectly into the path of Eze, who scored like that. Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. And right now, inside Wembley Stadium, it is all red and blue to our right. But Villa have forced a corner from the left-hand side. We're going to go back to Wrexham in a moment, but Tielemans is waiting to take this. Tielemans, who scored a brilliant Wembley goal in the FA Cup himself for Leicester City, I'm sure you'll remember. Tielemans plays it in low, it's flicked, and then beautifully worked, McGinn, but Kamada did his job against McGinn. Then again the cross from the left-hand side is headed up and over the top by Pau Torres. It's a goal kick, they've survived that. Crystal Palace, well worked set piece, but it comes to nothing. Still Palace 1-0 up. Back to Wrexham, Adam Cottier.
They have their first successive promotion in their sights. Wrexham lead Charlton by 2-0 now. Sam Smith with the goal. A left-footed volley from just outside the 6-yard area after the ball had been lifted into him. Brilliantly executed, and Wrexham are 2 up.
Yeah, there might be more Sam Smiths for Wrexham supporters later on this evening.
It's not far off now, is it?
Yeah, as ball's played over the top, Watkins is in an offside position, and the flag comes, Henderson comes out and heads it away. And that was one of those situations there where it needed the flag, because Henderson was coming out, he was looking to head it, he's against Watkins, they're all both okay.
Absolutely, and I think that's just those little margins that we have to tighten up with these decisions, with the offside decisions. I think the ref, to be fair to the assistant there, he's actually seen that there could be a collision, and he's put his flag up very, very quickly. So well done, but we don't want to see any injuries after the flag goes up.
Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. And now, for the Palace supporters, no matter that the Mateta goal was ruled out, because Eze has made up for it.
It was very well played. It was very well charged down by Sarr, and then the quality of Eze to stick it in. It wasn't even in the top corner, it was just the pace of the strike. Yeah. Very well worked.
The action, and remember, this match is on BBC One right now, so you can watch this match, and I would urge you to do that. I'm sure the clips of the goals will be on the BBC Sport website, so you'll be able to see it, just how well it was struck. But I noticed the replays were shown. They were slow motion replays, many of them, and you needed to see that as Camara is fouled and it's a free kick to Villa near the centre circle. I think you needed to see that goal played at actual pace.
Real time, because...
That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Exactly, yeah. Real time. That ball's rolling onto you there. It's perfect for a right footer, just to use your instep and try and curl it into that corner, which is the near post from the ball. And I feel that he's just gone right laces. He's put his laces through. He's caught it an absolute pitch. That takes a lot.
Yeah, Eze, who scored a very good goal against Arsenal actually on Wednesday night. So that is 9 for the season now. And I spoke a little earlier about how some of the Palace players, Mark Gay, would have a good feeling about being here. Actually, the same applies to Eza, because if you remember last month in the Latvia game, it was in that very goal that Eza scored his first goal for England. So it's been very good to him.
It doesn't surprise me that he's the one that's put the ball in the back of the net with a finish like that. I mean, Villa have got to create more chances. I mean, John McGinn was in a great position to cross the ball. Here's
Asensio, diagonal ball played up and across, looking for Watkins. Mitchell was able to head that away. They've played this pretty well, Palace, so far. We talk about the tactical success for two tactical managers, and at the moment, again, it's Oliver Glasner who has got the edge over Unai Emery as a free kick to Villa on the right-hand side after a coming together between Mitchell and Asensio. And Oliver Glasner, I just noticed he suddenly turned and sprinted to the bench, so I think he was a little concerned here. And the medical people are making their way there, but I think they're okay. It's Asensio, I think, who has come off. Oh, it's Rodgers who has come off worst in this, and he's just sitting up now, and he's looking up at Anthony Taylor. And was he caught? Was it a knee in the? As Mitchell went down, maybe caught Rodgers with his knee.
Yeah, I just think it was the running action of Mitchell that just caught Rodgers in the side of the face. I mean, he's up and he's okay now, but he was holding his mouth, expecting to see some blood. No blood, which is good, and he's up on his feet.
Yeah,
both players are fine.
And it's actually a throw-in that's been given, so no free kick. In the National League, in the 5:30 kick-off there, Southend are in front against Wealdstone, and if it stays like that, Southend would be in the playoff places and Wealdstone would remain in the relegation zone. So Southend winning 1-0, Wrexham winning 2-0 on the way to promotion today, and Villa 1-0 down. Crystal Palace, with this scoreline, Crystal Palace are on the way to the FA Cup final, and Camara's been dispossessed by Mateta, and Mateta gets his head down, and the big man sets off down the left wing, and now he's beaten Konsa, and now he's into the full-back position, and he crosses left-footed, and Sarr in the middle was not able to direct it on target. Excellent work actually by Digne, who was right there with Sarr. That was excellent defending from Digne. He did all he could to put Sarr off, which he had to do, and then McGinn was able to head it back to Martinez. Excellent from Palace again.
Yeah, Mateta down the right-hand side again.
But now it's Villa on the attack at the other end, and Watkins, lovely little swivel, shake of the hips from him to go past Munoz to the byline, and in came the challenge to put it behind for a Villa corner.
Yeah, first by Mateta down the left-hand side for Palace. Great work, tries to repay the favour to Sarr, crosses it, Sarr can't do anything with it. Villa break, Ollie Watkins is in down the left, shows that bit of pace, but his route to goal was blocked again. Another corner for Villa, outswinger this time.
Yep, from the left-hand side. 1-0 to Palace, 5-5 in the World Service. Here's the delivery, Konsa heads it down, Henderson's able to block it. Got down quickly, didn't get the power on that, Konsa, downward header, but Henderson was able to save. In comes the cross again into the penalty area. That's taken down at the back post by Kamada and stabbed away to the halfway line.
Yes, good play, really good play from Villa. You've got to, when you get into those crossing positions, use the area, put it into a good area in the box. Don't refuse to cross the ball.
Henderson there sort of dropped down to his knee and pushed it out. Rodgers now as Villa attack again. Cross comes off Mitchell, who's just in front of Rodgers when he attempted to send it across the penalty area. That's blocked behind. It's another Villa corner, and this has really improved, hasn't it? The goal has, as they tend to do, changed the match, and it's a corner. Villa now, big questions being asked of them. What a season, hoping still to finish in the Champions League places, as Asensio takes this in, flicked across goal, and then blocked there on the edge of his own 6-yard area by Mitchell, who was able to control it and just volley it away to comparative safety. Yes, Villa, that great Champions League adventure that they were on this season, back in that competition for the first time for 42 years. You know, they're right in the running, even though they're currently out of the Champions League places, 7th in the Premier League this morning, but just 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. And but I suspect certainly what the supporters want would be to win the FA Cup this season, not having won it since 1957. And now I mention that, Dion really should be mention that it was the man who scored both of those goals, Peter McParland, in the 1957 final. He was 91 yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So, happy birthday, Peter McParland.
Absolutely, happy birthday, sir. This will be a lovely belated birthday present for him if they can get over the line today. But they've got their work cut out because Palace have got this spot on so far. Spot on.
I thought they played it very well against Arsenal on Wednesday night, who were a little bit off on Wednesday, but got a 2-2 draw at the Emirates. In the Premiership now, Northampton 14, Bristol 5, and Super League tea-time kickoffs, Catalan 0, Wakefield Trinity 6, and Salford 0, Lee 8. And free kick to Villa, centre field. 4 minutes of the first 45 to play, and at half-time on 5 Live, I'm sure on the World Service as well, we will have more reaction from the earlier events, and we will be hearing, I'm sure, from a range of the players and managers involved. Brendan Rodgers we're going to hear from at half-time after Celtic clinched the title, and Villa go all the way back to Martinez, with Palace leading by 1-0. Tomorrow, really big day of sport again, and just to mark your card, the 2 Premier League matches are on 5 Live. So Bournemouth, Manchester United from 2, Liverpool, Tottenham from 4:30, when Liverpool can clinch the title. And at the same time, both kicking off at 4:30, the second of the FA Cup semi-finals will be on Sports Extra. Villa with camera in the centre circle. Watkins is challenged by Lacroix from behind, and that's given us a free kick, which Lacroix, given his body language, was unimpressed with. But a free kick for Villa with 2.5 minutes of the first 45 to play. Villa clearly would love to get one back before the break. Tielemans, who has got a lovely touch from the set piece, takes this long into the penalty area, looking for Torres, headed away, then it's turned back in right across the 6-yard box and bounces across. Mitchell chases it, but Rodgers has taken it up for Villa. Villa all in white, I think overruns that, pulls it back, but yeah, the ball was behind the line. Mitchell went with him before he pulled it across, and it is a goal kick to Crystal Palace, who, in contrast, of course, Oliver Glasner and his team, and all of these Palace fans down in front of us, red and blue striped replica shirts in great numbers, some of them walking up the stands, still those balloons bobbing around above their heads. They would want to preserve this lead until the break. So 1-0 Crystal Palace here at Wembley, and at Twickenham the latest comes from James Burridge.
England have another try, 38-21. It's been scored by the captain Allcroft on the left-hand shoulder of Zoe Harrison. Beautiful break from the fly half, and England badly needed it. It's been a scrappy second half. France have been looking dangerous, but England now have the initiative again. 38-21, 50 minutes gone.
So the commentary continues on Sports Extra, and then after that it'll be to the Tottenham Stadium for the evening of boxing, which will be on 5 Live, the big Eubank Ben fight. 5 Live, the place to listen to that from 9:30, but as I say, on Sports Extra from 7. So Palace leading through an excellent finish from Berichi Eza, the England international, his 9th goal of the season and his 3rd in this FA Cup run for Palace. Here's Asensio into the box to Cash. Palace players all round him, then back to Asensio. His shot is blocked by Lacroix, who came across, and the ball has bounced all the way out to the goal scorer Eza, who calmly puts his foot on it, plays it infield to Wharton. Wharton then helps it on and forward over the halfway line. Munoz with the pass through to Sarr. Sarr's ball across. Mitchell's in there. He's missed his kick, and still Mitchell. Then he lost his foot. Then it's back to Eza. Camera in front of him, edge of the D. Eza works it out to Munoz on the right. Munoz slips as he puts the ball in, and that is blocked away and is kept in play by Palace. What a chance that was for the left wing back Mitchell. They come again though. Munoz deep cross to the back post. Rodgers just got the top of his head to that to guide it behind. So close, Palace to a second.
Yeah, and you know what? I know exactly what Mitchell is thinking. The ball's rolled, he's 8 yards out, he's in the centre of the goal. All he has to do is lift it into the back of the net. There are Villa players trying to block that ball hitting the back of the net. but he's already scored in his head. The chance was that easy. He's already scored in his head. He gets it all wrong. He takes his foot off the gas and he just gets to the ball second. That's a prime chance for Palace.
Oh, that is, for Palace fans, watching that will be agony. It was there for him, Tyrick Mitchell, but here's the corner. Eza plays it in, comes off a Villa head and is clipped away on the stretch. Camara and Lacroix were together, and the final touch must have been off the Palace man, because that has given us a goal kick. We've got 2 minutes of added time and we've got just over a minute of that left. But when the ball came across to Mitchell, what was he, Dion? 8-9 yards out, missed it with his right foot, hit his left and he fell over.
Yeah, I've not heard that shout for a long time. He fell over, but he actually did fall over. I just believe he was ahead of himself. You have to get to the ball like a golf shot. Don't take your eye off the ball. Nice and clean, hit the roof of the net, and it would have been an easy goal. He just got ahead of himself.
Yes, not a regular scorer, as you'd expect. Tyrick Mitchell got a couple of goals last season, but has not registered this season. And probably Palace would have wanted almost anyone else in that position. However, they do have the lead, and half-time is fast approaching, just a few seconds away. Palace and Oliver Glasner that close to getting back into the Wembley dressing room at half-time with a 1-0 lead. And these are big questions that are going.
The tackling from England, they've just conceded a fourth French try. Kelly Arby out on the left-hand side. She shrugged off 4 English defenders. 38, 28, 54 on the clock. England still have work to do.
In the Gallagher Premiership today, Bath 55, Newcastle 19, Leicester 40, Harlequins 7. Northampton, as they approach half-time at Franklin Gardens, lead Bristol by 24 points to 5. Earlier in the Women's Six Nations, Scotland 26, Ireland 19. Wins for Lions and Ospreys in the United Rugby Championship. In Super League, Castleford won by 30 points to 12 at Huddersfield. Halfway through the first half, just past halfway through the first half in the other two games, Catalan 0, Wakefield 12, Salford 0. Lee 12 to the World Snooker, where Mark Williams is closing in on making it through to the next round. Jamie Broughton.
Yeah, he's just wrapping it up with a century break here, Mark. A possible break of 122 on here. Looks like he's going to get it by knocking in the black. It was a hard-fought match against Hosseins Vafai, but a 13-10 win. And he could play John Higgins should he get through tonight in the next round. Meanwhile, the 7-time champion Ronnie O'Sullivan leads China's Pang Jung-Shu by 6 frames to 2 after the opening session to play in their second round match. O'Sullivan's made 6 breaks over 50 in the session, but there are also a few errors which clearly annoyed him. They'll resume tomorrow afternoon, but as I say, Williams is through, waving and hand-fisting the crowd, and the Welsh legend moves on.
Thank you very much. In the Scottish Premiership today, Celtic thrashed Dundee United to claim a record-equalling 55th Scottish title. In the Scottish Championship, Livingston have gone level on points with Falkirk with 1 game to play at the top. Peterhead have won the League 2 title after beating East Fife this afternoon. In the Premier League, Ipswich are relegated after losing at Newcastle. There are also wins for Chelsea, Brighton, Fulham and Wolves. In the Championship, Cardiff have been relegated after drawing 0-0. Cardiff have been relegated. Plymouth are all but down on goal difference. Mathematically, they could get to the same number of points, but their goal difference is much worse. Luton scored in injury time, so that boosted their chances of staying up. It also harmed Coventry's playoff hopes. Derby beat Hull to leave Hull in the bottom 3. The last round of matches kick off 12:30 next Saturday lunchtime. We will have them all for you here on 5 Live Sport. In League 1, Cambridge have been relegated to League 2. They lost at Burton. Wrexham, as things stand, going up to the Championship as they get close to half-time. They're leading Charlton 2-0. In League 2, Carlisle will be a non-league club next season. They were beaten at Cheltenham. Doncaster and Port Vale both promoted this afternoon. Barnet are back in the Football League after a gap of 7 years. They eased past Aldershot to book their place in League 2 next season. Truro won the National League South. Brackley won the National League North. And Willie Mullins has been crowned the British champion trainer for the second successive season following a dramatic final day of the jump season at Sandown. Reaction to some of the day's football to come before we head back to Wembley, where Palace lead Villa by a 0-0. First at 8 minutes past 6, here's Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Mark, thank you. World leaders were joined by 400,000 mourners for Pope Francis's funeral earlier. The Pope's coffin has now been entombed in his favourite church, Santa Maria Maggiore in central Rome, as he became the first Pope in more than a century to be laid to rest outside the Vatican. President Trump met President Zelensky inside St Peter's Basilica in Rome just before the funeral. The two men were photographed sitting together in conversation, talks described by the White House as very productive and by Kyiv as constructive. Iranian state media says at least 4 people have been killed in a massive explosion at a port in the southern city of Bandar Abbas. More than 500 are reported to have been injured. And activists from Just Stop Oil have been holding their final protest, a rally in central London. The environmental group says it's stopping its high-profile actions because the government has agreed there should be no new oil and gas licences.
BBC Radio 5 Live.
My father is and will always be an enigma.
A fight 30 years in the making.
Who would have thought that their sons will be repeating history?
2 surnames that need no introduction.
Eubanks and Ben taking on each other with an hostility and a fury.
Separate myself from this massive figure.
I'm leaving no stone unturned. I've left no stone unturned this camp.
Chris Eubank Jr. v Conor Benn.
We're both just like our dads as well.
Tonight from 9:30
on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Back at Wembley shortly, where Crystal Palace lead Aston Villa by a 0-0 in the first of the weekend's FA Cup semi-finals. But let's hear from Brendan Rodgers after Celtic secured a record-equalling 55th Scottish top-flight title earlier after thrashing Dundee United 5-0 at Tannadice, their 13th title in 14 years.
I think what this team has done when the demand is there, when they've had to turn up, they've done that. Right the way through the season. We've had some blips, of course, but that's natural when you're going to be playing near to 60 odd games a season. You're going to have that, but when it's mattered, this team has produced and performed, and I'm just so pleased for them, all the work they put in, the sacrifices they make, and obviously for the supporters. Like, you look at that today, it's just an amazing support base that we have that pushes and gives us everything.
How special is this one now? Obviously, you've hit that 55. You can see what it means. How special is it to you, the players and the fans?
Well, I think firstly for the players, I'm really happy for them, because it's okay giving them the teachings and giving them the messages, but they've got to perform and they've got to produce, and they've got to produce under extreme pressure. A club like Celtic, big expectations, no easy games. So pleased for them. Happy for the staff throughout the club, because they don't go through the motions. They give everything for us, and especially the staff that's close to the first team.
Gavin Wallace with the questions to Brendan Rodgers. Chris is here for 6:06. I'm guessing with the big title decided, you all want to hear from fans of Peterhead after they saw off East 5 to win the Scottish League 2.
Yes, want to hear
Can't ignore that, Chris.
From Peterhead fans. One of my favourite places in Scotland, Mark. Peterhead, yes. If you fancy a holiday there sometime, absolutely lovely part of the world. Want to hear from Celtic fans. Do you think the team gets enough credit for the way they have performed this season?
Well, they do from you.
Well, come on, Mark, I'm impartial. Next season, are Rangers coming under Barry Ferguson? Is he the right guy to lead Rangers forward? And down south, Mark, what a day down south. Newcastle up to third. Ipswich Town, sorry to see Ipswich Town get relegated, but are you proud of the way that your team has performed this season? And are you well placed to bounce back? Ipswich Town fans want to hear from you. I actually think you are. Crystal Palace, what a story this would be, Mark, if they could get through to the FA Cup final. Their last cup win, as far as I can see, the full Members' Cup in 1990 to 91. I doubt they had an open top bus parade in South London there, but they should be getting the bunting out if they get to the final. And the Championship is mad at both ends, isn't it? Cardiff City, want to hear from your fans. What's gone wrong this season? Plymouth are essentially down. And then it's absolute carnage at the bottom. I think, Derby could go, Preston could go, Luton, Hull. I mean, it's ridiculous. And at the top, I see Millwall could possibly sneak a playoff place. I think Blackburn are in there as well. So, plenty to talk about.
Doncaster, Port Vale.
Doncaster, Port Vale. I think Carlisle are down, aren't they? And Morecambe Are they the shrimps or the shrimpers?
Shrimpers.
Shrimpers. So let's hear from the shrimpers fans. Can you bounce back? But
do you know what Doncaster and Port Vale did?
No.
Oh, they've both been promoted.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
I know you don't focus on the positive, but I'm just trying to help.
Thank you. Doncaster fans, what a season it's been for you, promoted. And Port Vale, yeah, they've had a phenomenal season. How did Walsall get on today, Mark?
They lost again. By the way, Morecambe of the Shrimps, South End of the Shrimpers.
Yeah. Well, I got that wrong. I got
I think I got that wrong with you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Walsall fans, they were flying, weren't they? We had Matt Sadler on the Monday Night Club. What's happened to his club?
Let's not keep going back to that.
Since he's been on, they're struggling.
Right. Sounds like you're across everything. It's going to be great. 08085 909 6.
Thanks for your help.
No problem. I'm here for you. 08085 909 693. Right, let's go to the rugby. James Burridge, a try. England have got a bit of breathing space.
Yes, they badly needed it, Mark. Abby Dow to the rescue, as ever. The Championship's top try scorer, England's 7th try. Her second, wonderful looping miss pass, targeting her on the right wing from Zoe Harrison. She struggled from the kicking tee, Zoe Harrison, today, but England, yes, they have that breathing space. 18 minutes to go, 43-28 they lead.
Cardiff have been relegated from the Championship. They drew 0-0 with West Brom. Results elsewhere will see them playing in the 3rd tier for the first time in 22 years. Here's their interim boss, Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah, I'm gutted, obviously. You know, I'm a fan as well. And, I'm sad to see this club going down. But the fans have had a difficult time this season. And, I really feel for them. I know how they're feeling. But also I want to say that I'm proud of the last couple of performances as well. Obviously, I wanted to come back and help the team on the field. That hasn't probably materialised like we all imagined and what we all wanted. So obviously game time in there hasn't, minutes on the pitch hasn't been great. So it's been very frustrating because this club means a lot to me and I wanted to try and help them as much as I could. And, that's why I've put myself forward in the end in taking over for the last few games, because I felt like I could have an impact and an effort from the lads to hopefully, have that miracle sort of ending. But it wasn't to be, and we have to own up to that.
Aaron Ramsey after Cardiff's relegation. The live sport just keeps coming. So we've got the second half from Wembley where Crystal Palace lead Aston Villa by a goal to 0. Then 6:06. The boxing tonight starts on Sports Extra, but then from 9:30 it will be here on 5 Live as we bring you Chris Eubank Jr. against Conor Benn from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, over 30 years since their fathers fought each other. Steve Bunce, what's the atmosphere like already?
It's an odd thing when we come to football stadiums for fights, because if you're in a football stadium and there's only 10,000 people, there's 50,000 empty seats, it's rubbish. But if you're in a boxing football stadium when there's 10,000 seats, you can feel a bit of a buzz. And I'll tell you why they're so excited, chappers, is because instead of ring card girls, right, they're not cheering the lack of ring card girls, but they're cheering the replacements, OK? Hannibal Lecter, look-alike. Anthony Joshua look-alike. Wait for it, David Beckham, unbelievable look-alike with Greek heritage, because we are in North London, remember. But what's more, we have Ed Sheeran, and I've got Fletcher next to me, right? I've got Paddy next to me, I've got Big Ronald and Richie Woodall next to me. All 5 of us believe that Ed Sheeran is actually Ed Sheeran. We think it's actually him.
So the others are a lookalike, but Ed Sheeran is actually there. Do you have it? But just before I go back to Wembley, the one thing I haven't asked you all week is, do you have any sense of who the crowd are behind?
No, it's going to be 50-50 booing, which is going to count. No, I swear to you, it's going to be 50-50 booing, and some of those might be pantomime boos, but that's definitely going to be the case. It's all going to be down to the fun ring walks, because obviously Connor's going to come in with his father, Nigel. We know there's no sign of Chris, but Chris Eubank Jr. will still come into Simply the Best. It's going to be like a trip down memory lane. Ed Sheeran will be strumming his guitar. Hannibal Lecter will be licking his lips. Chappers, that's what I'm leaving you with here. There'll be 66,000 people here. You can go back to Wembley all you like. I'm not leaving my seat.
Follow that, John Murray.
Yeah, I'm staying at Wembley, Steve.
I thought, do you know what? I thought you might, John. It wasn't sounding like your cup of tea to me, really.
I'm staying with him.
Well, thank you very much, Mark and Steve. Looking forward to that later. the players are just coming back out. Don't think Villa are going to make any changes, Dion, are they? I think they're all out there.
Not yet, but all of their subs were out on the pitch at half-time. I think they were kind of thrown out onto the pitch as if to say, get yourselves warm just in case, because we might need you.
So there's no Marcus Rashford. If you weren't listening earlier, Rashford has got what Villa have told us is a small muscle problem, so he's not involved at all. So he's not an option, but they do have Donyell Marlon, Ross Barkley's on the bench, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, Ian Matson as well, so we could see, well, certainly some of them coming on. But it's Crystal Palace who are leading by 1-0. Crystal Palace, twice FA Cup finalists before, but have never won this, never won the League Cup, never won the league. And they have got their eyes on a potential final just 3 weeks away. So the second half, Villa kick off. Villa are in the all-white for this semi-final, and Palace in the home colours, the red and blue striped shirts, blue shorts, blue socks. We just had a visit, Dion, didn't we, from Clinton Morrison, former Crystal Palace striker, in high spirits. He'll be with me tomorrow for the commentary on Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. But he was in and out like a whirling dervish, wasn't he?
That's what he does. That's what he was like in the box, you know. You couldn't find him in the box, then he'd just get across you and he'd head it in the back of the net.
So it is 1-0. World Service are with us as well, BBC World Service listeners here. Still lots of empty seats. People haven't come back to their seats for the start of the second half. And I mean, this is a match, a semi-final match that is in the balance. Where are they? For goodness sake.
It's the whole of the stadium as well. It's not just
back in your seats.
It's not just the corporate seats, it's all the seats.
Very odd. Palace coming forward, but the ball is stabbed out of play by Pau Torres for a throw-in. Half-time now in the Wrexham-Charlton match. Wrexham bound for promotion, Adam Cottier.
Yeah, bound for the Championship. They lead 2-0 after goals in the space of 3 minutes. First, a right-foot shot from outside the box from Ollie Rathbone, and then a brilliant volley from Sam Smith. Wrexham 2, Charlton 0.
And Southend leading Wealdstone by 1-0 in the 5:30 kick-off in the National League. Crystal Palace 1-0 up here. That excellent goal from Eza. This match is on BBC One, by the way, if you're on your way home. Here is Eza. Lovely change of feet. Right-foot shot from just outside the box as he could infield, but he apologises all round there as that flies away. Nowhere near the quality of the strike for the only goal so far.
It doesn't surprise me that he's allowed to do that. He just sort of evades the defender on the left-hand side. He gets to the corner box and he has a shot on target. Nobody's waving their arms as if to say cross it, because they know he can do it and he's capable of it.
This is a really effective front three. They've got a wide range of talents, haven't they, between them? Mateta through the middle, the big man with the mask on, Eza to the left, and Sarr to the right.
Yeah, and they've really set up well. I mean, in that first half, you know, Eze and Sarr either side of Mateta, they just weren't moving, they weren't breaking ranks, and then they changed it. Villa didn't know what to do. Do we go short? Do we go long? There's no spacing behind for Villa.
It is Palace who play it forward. Mark Gay, the captain, but that just gives possession back to Villa at the other end, and it goes back to Martinez. So yes, that's the front three for Crystal Palace. Henderson in goal, three central defenders, Richards back from suspension for this one, Lacroix, Captain Gay, then Munoz on the right, Mitchell on the left. What a miss that was. It was replayed over and over again. I could almost hear Micah Richards on BBC One saying "dearie me" when it was being shown again. Wharton and Kamada in the middle. Bring you through the Villa side again in a moment, but Villa on the attack with Rodgers into the penalty area. Then in comes the challenge, a good one as well it was, but then back out from Tielemans to the right hand side. Then McGinn with a shot, caught that beautifully, and Henderson makes the save, diving up to his right. Very good save from the Palace goalkeeper.
Yeah, don't make it too pretty. I was saying, get the ball in the box. I mean, McGinn's gone from the back post to the centre of the goal, just connects with his right foot, makes the keeper make a save. You've got to do more of that. Palace are set up incredibly well.
If he managed to get that any distance wide of Henderson, that was in the back of the net, but it was close enough to the Palace keeper to save it. In comes the corner, flicked on at the near post by McGinn, headed away to the edge of the area. Camara heads it to his left. Then the shot from Digne, which is saved by a flying Henderson. I'm not sure if it was going wide, but it might have been creeping into the bottom corner, the Digne shot, and Henderson made sure.
Yeah, I think that might have been nestling, you know, that bottom left-hand corner. Henderson, he gets across, moves his feet, gets down really low and just tips it around the corner. Another corner to Villa, who are now officially starting the second half strongly. In it comes to the near post, that's headed up and away by Mark Gay. And then on the edge of the area, goal scorer Eza does well, wriggles away, strong, gets away from Tielemans, who then nudges him over, but Munoz takes it on and sweeps the ball high, cross-field. Kamada is able to chest it down in the shadows on the far side. Now comes infield, right-footed ball into the box, half cleared by Tielemans, headed into the box by Wharton, and then volleyed up in the air by Digne. So Martinez comes, and the Villa goalkeeper is able to catch it, and then he launches this downfield. This is for Watkins to chase, but it lands on the forehead of Maxence Lacroix, who heads it away, and then Richards blocks the ball back into the Villa half. Choice of listening right now. The Women's Six Nations Grand Slam decider continues on Sports Extra, and James Burridge is there at Twickenham with the latest.
It's going to be a very nerve-wracking last 9 minutes for fans of the Red Roses. France have just scored again. It's now England 43, France 35. Morgan Bourgeois scoring in the right-hand corner. She's converted brilliantly all afternoon, hasn't missed a single kick, converted from the touchline, and it's an 8-point game with 8 minutes to go.
It's a penalty to Crystal Palace. They've got a chance to go 2-0 up. Camara put the challenge in on Eza, used his body, Eza went down. Anthony Taylor had a quick think about it and pointed to the spot.
And I think he's absolutely spot on. I mean, the ball's just rolled to Wharton on the edge of the box. He's about 25 yards out. He sort of shapes to shoot, and then he just plays a lovely ball just in behind Camara onto Eze's left foot, and just as Eze's about to take it, Camara clips him from behind. It's a definite penalty, there's no question whatsoever, and I think the referee again has got it right. They'll look at it on VAR, but there's no mistaking with this one, that's a pen.
They'll look at this, but I would very much expect that the video assistant referee will back up the view of Anthony Taylor, the on-field referee. Craig Pawson is the video assistant referee. It's interesting, Dion, in front of us here on our little television screen in the commentary box, we've seen a couple of replays here. Now, from one angle, it didn't look as though there was too much contact, but then very helpfully you saw the angle from behind, the view that Taylor would have. and that did look very much like a penalty.
Yeah, it was a penalty, and I think Camera just switched off a little bit because Wharton's shaped to shoot, so he thought that he was going to shoot, and he didn't stay with his man, tried to get back in, he'd got a yard on him already.
Penalty confirmed. Mateta is getting himself ready now. Jean-Philippe Mateta, the man who was taken out in the FA Cup quarter-final, now has this golden opportunity for the red and blue of Crystal Palace up against the great penalty-saving goalkeeper Emi Martinez, don't forget, who Anthony Taylor actually walks across to now and just speaks to the Villa goalkeeper. He's ready, there's the whistle. It's Mateta against Martinez. Right foot, oh, and he's missed it! Martinez went the right way, diving to his left. It's still 1-0. Oh, he struck it so well, but wide of the right post.
I think it may have just clipped Martinez's left post, you know. It's not a great penalty. He knows that Martinez is good at penalties. Tried to put it right in the side netting, as far away from the keeper as possible. The goalkeeper's forced him to take a penalty like that. Psychological battle won by Martinez.
Went the right way. Mateta, I mean, it's... Yeah, you're right, Dion. Clipped the post on the way wide. Struck it well enough, but just too wide.
Yeah, you know, you look at the Mitchell chance, you look at the penalty. Are they running out of chances to make it 2-0? Are Villa now getting their way back into the game?
1-0. It remains Crystal Palace 1, Aston Villa 0. But the Villa supporters now on their feet, clearly fearing that they were going to go 2-0 down, which might have put them out of it. Villa on the attack inside the Palace box. That's scraped away by Munoz up towards the man who's just missed the penalty. Mateta back to the edge of the penalty area, forwards from Richards. Konza then heads it forward to Camera, the man who conceded the penalty, and little pass to Asensio. Now here's McGinn on the left-hand side. McGinn looks for Digne. Digne's ball across the edge of the penalty area. It's blocked by Richards, who's outside the area. 1 or 2 shouts for handball, but cleared out of play near the halfway line. So again, if you've just joined us on 5 Live or on the World Service, Palace leading through the excellent Eza goal in the 31st minute of the first half. But the big chances they've had. Mateta had a goal ruled out when it was 0-0, which we both feel was quite a harsh decision against Crystal Palace. But then a big chance for Tyrick Mitchell, who miskicked it, and now a penalty chance from the penalty spot to go 2-0 up, and that's been spurned.
Yeah, and this is where you can sometimes, you know, get caught out if you don't take those chances. If you're not really concentrating, those chances are going to pass you by. Villa now are buoyed by this. Well, their fans are anyway.
Villa, Martinez, the goalkeeper, did enough there to sow doubt in the mind of Mateta to the extent that he missed the penalty. If we're giving him credit for that, I don't know whether we'd... Well, you already have, Dion.
I have, and I believe it's right, John. Yeah. I believe that they know how good he is, and you have to have or score the perfect penalty against him.
So that's why it's the penalty taker feels it's got to be pinpoint, and as I say, just the width of the post wide, but that was enough. So 1-0 it remains to Crystal Palace. Villa, who have Cash, Konza, Torres and Digne, and now quite a familiar back four for them, with Torres having missed a large part of the second half of the season. Camara and Tielemans, Rodgers, Asensio, McGinn and Watkins. So Villa needed to up this, and now here's one for Watkins to chase through the middle bit. Dean Henderson is right out there on the edge of his penalty area to gather the bouncing ball into his body. Villa had to change something, they had to up it. Let's up the performance.
Yeah, they have. They've upped the performance, they've upped the pace. I mean, they've got away with a few, I've got to say, but now, after Mateta missing the penalty, they feel like, right, we can't give any more chances away. Now it's our time. They've picked up the pace, they're passing the ball quicker.
So, 1-0, Crystal Palace lead. Here's Tielemans, right through the middle. Asensio helps it on, he might have been clipped, but referee Taylor plays the advantage. Then McGinn overhits it beyond Digne. And it's through and behind, and it's a goal kick to Crystal Palace, who now their supporters take great cheer from that. There's a great knot of them behind the goal to our right. How they enjoyed that. how they felt the agony there in that stand as Mateta put it wide. They were absolutely primed and ready to go ballistic with the celebrations, but the flags are still being twirled in the Palace end, and the Villa supporters. I think most people now finally have retaken their seats for the second half. But time is beginning to run out for Aston Villa, Unai Emery and his team, as Palace go back to the edge of their penalty area. Henderson, and you've just pointed out TV showing Roy Hodgson, the Palace manager, before Oliver Glasner, who's did such an excellent job in his time there, as Palace win it back. Now Sarr's taking it on, and Sarr's shot is in! It's 2-0 now! And listen to this Crystal Palace noise inside Wembley Stadium. What a finish that is! Never mind the missed penalty now. Never mind Tyrick Mitchell's miss. Ismaila Sarr driving in, 23 yards out. Martinez diving down to his right, but this was in the bottom corner. And Palace have got a grip on this now. 2-0 against Aston Villa.
You know what? They deserve it as well. Villa have tried to up the pace, but they've stayed solid. I mean, Sarr's picked the ball up in the centre of Villa's half, and he's driving and he's driving. Nobody closes him down. He's being closed down from behind, but he slows himself down. He takes the shot about 25 yards out, and he nestles it in the corner. Martinez is right, his left. Keeper's got no chance. Catches it with his laces. 2-0 Palace.
Just outside the D by the time that he did actually hit it. Found the bottom corner, and Ismaila Sarr reaches 10 goals for the season. Double figures for him. What an excellent return that is for one of their summer signings last season. £12 million or thereabouts from Marseille, the former Watford man, remember. And Villa now 2-0 down. Unai Emery now turns to his substitutes. Maatsen and Bailey are the first two. John McGinn is quickly whipping off the captain's armband, giving it to Torres, who I think is going to hand it to Martinez. Yes, he is. So McGinn is off, and Digne as well. So the two changes on the left flank.
Well, he's got to do something. McGinn is had an okay game. He's made a couple of mistakes. It's not like him at all, and I think Luca Dean as well down the left-hand side could have been dangerous, but he's got pace and power on the pitch now. I mean, Bailey on that right-hand side, he's going to try and give Mitchell a few problems, but Palace have got this sussed at the moment.
Yeah, they have. They've had the edge over Aston Villa for most of the last year, actually, over the course of the last 4 meetings. Oliver Glasner, and they're doing it again. And Rodgers, who's now come over to the left-hand side, so Bailey's on the right. Rodgers plays it forward to Watkins, but Watkins loses out to Mark Gay. Lacroix is able to clear it out of play. So 2-0 to Crystal Palace, who are bound for the final next month in 3 weeks' time here against either Manchester City or Nottingham Forest. That tomorrow from 4:30. You'll hear it on Sports Extra with Liverpool-Tottenham on 5 Live. Must be approaching the closing stages at Twickenham, James Burridge.
This is an unbelievable finish. France have made it, cut it to a 1-point game, 43-42. We are into injury time as England may have got the turnover and the advantage. The referee does blow her whistle, and England have hung on for their 7th successive Six Nations title. But my goodness, they were made to work for it by Les Bleus. Grisé, the left wing, cutting through England in the dying stages, and England looked totally shell-shocked, out on their feet. France nearly stole this game at Twickenham, but England have done it, and the crowd can celebrate. 43-42 England win.
What a game. So dramatic there. You'll hear them wrap it up on Sports Extra right now, and then it'll be the boxing after that from the Tottenham Stadium. But Villa on the attack, ball swept in. Richards is there in the Palace 6-yard box, headed away back out to the right-hand side. Villa had another corner while James was bringing us the news. Then Tielemans now with a shot from 25 yards out, but Henderson knows that that's heading over the top, just hops up into the air, puts his arm up, and it's behind. There is the attendance, 82,301 Palace supporters to our right. It's very, very lively in there. Many of them, as we look down on them, Dion here, in the lower section in front of us, on their feet, arms in the air, and still the flags and the applause and the cheers. And Villa's supporters now 2-0 down, fearing that it's going to be another close but not close enough.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, it's bouncing to the right of us and it's absolutely dead to the left of us. That's the contrast at the moment.
Villa need to find the spirit that they showed at Villa Park a couple of weeks ago, when we thought it was all over against Paris Saint-Germain, and they stormed back into it. I'm not sure if, as Palace come forward, Sarr overhits that pass through. Mateta won't reach that. Martinez is out there to get it. So 2-0, a goal in each half from Eza, and then Sarr. Ruthless finishes, both of them.
Yeah, good finishes, really good. I mean, the first one was outstanding, and then Sarr from 25 yards just picked his spot and put it in the corner.
Well, there are going to be some jubilant Crystal Palace fans on 606 tonight, with Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike actually with Chris this evening. The lines are open, 08085 909 693 to talk to them after what's been such a busy day with so many things decided. As Pau Torres steps across the edge of his penalty area. Wharton, though, wins that back for Palace. I think their supporters know a third goal and it would be all over. Forward now to Sarr. Sarr pulls it back across, but blocked by Konza, who just lifted up his leg, stuck it out at an angle, and Villa have got it back inside their own half.
I mean, Palace have done, never mind their organisation, and they've shown every single physical one-on-one battle. The ball's at a Villa player's feet and he tries to turn. Palace have nicked it. Often Wharton in there has done it. Mitchell's done it down the left-hand side from us. Sarr's done it. So every little battle they are winning at the moment, individually, Palace, as well as collectively.
Crystal Palace closing in on one of their third FA Cup final. Runners-up, both previous occasions, runners-up to Manchester United, to Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United way back in 1990 after a replay. Famous win for Manchester United, that. And then in 2016 against Louis van Gaal's Manchester United on the day that he effectively was sacked but won the FA Cup. Alan Pardew with his little dance as well down on the touchline during that final.
Awful dance. Awful dance.
Well, he's not been allowed to forget it, has he? If you remember, they did take the lead in that final, Crystal Palace, when Jason Punchin scored, but Juan Mata equalised, and then Jesse Lingard's goal won it in extra time. There's been a yellow card for Chris Richards for a foul centre field, so Richards is now also on a yellow card, having just come back from suspension. Tielemans to take this then, forward of the centre circle. 25 minutes to go, so plenty of time, but on the play that we've seen, I have to say, I'm doubting Villa. Tielemans plays this forward. Richards heads it away. Camera heads it back into the box. Flicked on by Rodgers. Here's Watkins, left side of the area. Watkins is being forced away by Munoz. Does find Rodgers. Chipped across. Henderson comes, punches it out. It's taken down and shot goalwards by Bailey and deflected up and over the top of the bar. And I think Anthony Taylor is saying it maybe came off a teammate.
I think that's good defending. I actually thought it came off his teammate as well, but I think it came off a defending leg. But I think the referee's actually blown up already.
Goal kick that's been given.
Goal kick.
A shot from Leon Bailey, who's just come on. It was a crowded penalty area, and the Villa player who was down in the 6-yard box, I think it might have struck him. Pau Torres.
I think that's great defending. I really do. I think it's a Palace player from what I've seen. Just defending incredibly well. Bailey's anguish on his face as we watch the replay. He knows he should have gone high with that into the roof of the net. That's a half decent chance for Villa.
Yeah, well, it's been given as a goal kick. So Palace still leading by 2-0. Long ball downfield, but Martinez is able to claim that on the edge of his own penalty area. And Aston Villa have got a mighty challenge on here now. It just feels today that the force has been with Crystal Palace. Jacob Ramsey is being prepared now, a third Villa substitute to come onto the field. But they've got so much right today, Palace. And Villa, who have won 10 of their last 12 matches. Ross Barkley as well, Dion, I think you've seen as being prepared, so it's going to be another double change for Aston Villa. Yes, Villa, who came into this having won 10 of their last 12 matches in all competitions, saw them win handsomely against Newcastle at Villa Park last weekend. The two defeats, of course, have been against the champions of France and the champions of England. Tielemans playing it forward, but Palace have got their number, and Munoz is going to see this over the dead ball line. It's just got that feel to it for me, Dion.
Yeah, it has, and I mean, when Villa have the ball in the middle of the park, I mean, Tielemans has got it. He's advancing towards Palace's goal, and what Palace do as well, they just squeeze the whole back five together, and they say, OK, if you're going to break us down, you're going to have to go round us, and they haven't got the width, they haven't got the crossing ability as yet. Villa, I do believe Villa will get a few more chances in this game yet.
Well, we're into the last quarter of it now. 2-0 to Palace. Here's Eza, who got the ball rolling, but in comes the challenge in centre field. Tielemans' boot nearly came off, but he was able to quickly bend down, make sure it was back on. Camera gave it back to him. Tielemans starts the next attack. Rogers now cutting into the area on the left-hand side, running into a crowd of players trying to barge his way through, and in the midst of all that, it bounced away from him and through to goalkeeper Henderson.
Yeah, and that, again, that's the Palace defenders knowing how good Rogers is and forcing him to do something incredible, not stepping out of line. They've backed off, they've said, what are you going to do? And he had no trick on that occasion. Ball rolled into the keeper's arms, not a problem.
Lines open for 606 on 5 Live, 08 085 909 693. I think there'll be some tales of woe on there with Chris and Natalie Pike. And Villa making a couple of changes now, as we mentioned. Ramsey and Barkley are going to come on for Asensio and Camara. So Camara, who was on a yellow card, Dion, so that perhaps a factor. And Asensio, so there's no Rashford. Asensio's now off. Leon Bailey has come on, having not been seen lately. He's not played in the last 8 matches. I think he had an injury issue when he came back with Jamaica last month. But here he is. He's already had one sight of goal. Bailey, who, in what's been such a good season, he really hasn't hit the heights of last campaign. Cross-field pass. Matson's ball now into the middle, and a stretch and away by Lacroix, just outside the 6-yard box. Still on the edge of the area. Ramsey, the newly arrived Jacob Ramsey, Matson, and then Tielemans 25 yards out, square from him. Ross Barkley now. Ross Barkley turns and shoots low across the face of goal. Henderson diving down to his right, pulled his gloves away because he knew it was going wide. Yeah,
and I feel that Barkley has that in his locker as well. We know how well he can strike a ball from distance, and if Palace are going to back off as they have been doing, he might be the one just to fire one in the top corner, but it's going to have to take some to break the momentum of this Palace side at the moment. They're enjoying it, Palace, at the moment.
Yes, the substitutions tell the story, don't they? Unai Emery's made 4 of his changes. Oliver Glasner's team that started the match, they're all still out there. Crystal Palace, who it's just a little stoppage here as the ball is deflected out of play for a throw into Palace, who are in absolutely no hurry whatsoever. Crystal Palace and Oliver Glasner, who have already knocked Aston Villa out of the League Cup this season. They beat them handsomely in the Premier League, and now Sarr is in on the right side of the area, but his cross is beyond the run. It was Tyrick Mitchell who was furthest forward again after his glaring miss in the first half, but couldn't get there for this one. Just had too much pace on it from Sarr, and now Konza is being put under pressure by Mateta, who forces the throw in, and Mateta, the big man, the Frenchman down in the corner, says to the Palace fans in that section, come on, see us through.
Yeah, he's got his arms out wide as if to say, come on, give us some more noise. We're doing our bit, you've got to do your bit. Again, that's another chance for Palace. Sarr down the right, he puts it across the box. Mitchell makes the wrong run and gets the opposite this time. He goes in front, should have gone behind, but they're still creating chances, Palace.
Yep, Eza and Sarr, the goal scorers. In the Super League, Catalan 14, Wakefield 18, Salford 0, Lee 22 are the latest scores, and in the Rugby Union, Northampton 34, Bristol 12. The The boxing from Tottenham is on 5 Live tonight. Begins on Sports Extra at 7 o'clock or thereabouts. Darren Fletcher is presenting the whole thing, and then it switches on to 5 Live at 9:30 this evening for Ben Eubank. Palace now. Munoz cross from the right-hand side, deflected out to the edge of the area to Barkley, who's able to take it down for Villa, and they pass it forward to Rodgers. Rodgers with Ramsey coming on. Rodgers has now gone into a central position. I always like to see him there, Dion. So since Asensio went off, here is Ramsey, who's bringing it forward. Villa all in white, but it's been a red and blue day here at Wembley Stadium in this semi-final. Tielemans near the centre circle. Tielemans turns, gives it back out to Pau Torres. Torres, who was caught out, dispossessed for the opening goal by Sarr. Then back to Tielemans again. Barkley. Now Cash joins in. Leon Bailey on the right-hand side. Bailey against Mitchell. Goes past him, down the right. Mitchell sticks a foot out and blocks it behind. Corner Villa.
Yeah, Mitchell's been great. He's not let anybody go down the outside of him and get across it. Every time he's blocked, he's giving corners away, but that's what you have to do. Don't allow the ball in the box from your side.
Still time for Villa. 2-0 down. 17 minutes plus added time to go. Corner to be taken from over there on the right-hand side into the near post. Comes off Gay's head across his own box, but Wharton is there with his blue socks down, is able to whack it away towards the halfway line. Wrexham still in control against Charlton in League One. Adam Cottier.
They are 14 minutes into the second half. It's Wrexham 2, Charlton 0. 2 picture book goals in the first half from Ollie Rathbone and Sam Smith have Wrexham heading in the direction of the Championship. They lead Charlton 2-0.
And Crystal Palace leading Aston Villa by 2-0. Crystal Palace making their 6th appearance in an FA Cup semi-final. 1-2, lost 3 before this one, but they are in pole position here against Aston Villa, who this season have played 10 more matches than Crystal Palace. Villa 53 in all competitions. This is Palace's 43rd. And now here is Bailey on the right-hand side. Bailey, Mitchell right there, goes round him and then goes to the byline, cuts it back, a little touch in the box, bounces to the edge of the area. Barkley was challenged by Mateta. I did wonder for a moment whether that might have been a penalty. Anthony Taylor's not interested in that. Matson then slips it into the box to Rodgers, but then in comes the challenge from Lacroix. Villa, Palace can't get out now. Villa have got it back. Matson, Ramsey's ball across from the left-hand side. Then Tielemans in on the challenge with Kamada, but as the two of them came together, it deflected off Tielemans and then through for a goal kick. Palace.
Yeah, it's really good work going forward and defensively as well. Mateta, the big centre forward, back there helping his teammate. He took the ball off Ross Barkley's toe as he was just about to strike from the edge of the box, but they work together in 2s and 3s today. Palace have done it so well, and Villa at this present time can't find an answer to the way they're set up, to their energy, to their physical presence as well.
No, with this scoreline, all of these people from South London and wherever Palace fans have come from to be here today, probably more in hope than expectation, I think, against this Villa team. Tielemans passing it forward. Well, they're going to have to come back here in 3 weeks' time. But Bailey with a back heel. And then on the overlap, Cash's ball into the penalty area, a diving block by Kamada. He's really effectively played in that midfield role, the Japanese, as Palace are able to play it away. Oh, lovely from Eza, just slightly overhit. Pau Torres dives in. Kamada's ball over the top. It's 3 against 2, but it was overhit from Kamada, even though Sarr and Munoz actually were bearing down on it. The right wing back, who's now out of position as Villa look to come forward, and they're attacking down the left-hand side as well. Ramsey and Torres, and now Matson in possession, into the box to Ramsey. Ramsey against Richards, onto his left foot, ball across, took a deflection, which took it into the path of Henderson, who very gratefully was able to fall forward and gather the ball into his chest.
Absolutely, and it just goes to show how well-drilled Palace are. Richards there, he's actually in the right wing spot, right far forward. He thinks he's going to get on the end of the ball. It runs through to Martinez, but Wharton, the midfield player, his teammate, drops into that right back spot until he gets back. They know how to play against this Villa side.
Eddie Nketiah is being prepared, and that's going to be Palace's first change. Oliver Glasner down there, the Austrian Oliver Glasner, born up in the in the Austrian Alps, all in black today. Could become the first Austrian manager of a team in the FA Cup final. There's only ever been one Austrian involved in the FA Cup final in any capacity. Here's Tielemans playing it across to the right-hand side. Bailey drives it in. Henderson dives forward and pushes it away into the penalty area. Unfortunately for Palace, he did not push it to anyone in white, and Palace were able to bring it away. And Mitchell wins the throw-in halfway inside his own half.
Yeah, I mean, he does great there, Henderson, to parry that away, but you've got Tielemans on the edge of the box, you've got Ross Barkley on the edge of the box. Palace have only got one player in. You're going to have to advance like a cricketer in the outfield, move forward, and you might just get to that ball before a defender. They need to be more proactive in the final third.
This is the Emirates FA Cup semi-final on the BBC. It's on BBC One as well if you're heading home. Might be able to see the closing stages as Mateta wins a free kick from the throw-in. Going to see the changes, and actually Daniel Marlon is going to come on as well. And so that's it from Jean-Philippe Mateta. What a presence he is. So popular. Missed the penalty today, but could have had a goal in the first half. It was a little unfortunate, I think, to have had that ruled out. And Dion, you know, as a former centre-forward yourself, how highly do you rate him, Jean-Philippe Mateta?
Yeah, I just think he's got better. I think he's got better. He looks sharper. He looks in better condition. He knows his teammates now. They know what kind of player he is, and he's just getting better. He's strong on the ball. He's holding the ball and he's being reliable, so his midfield players can go around their midfield player and support. Puts himself into great positions in the box. They don't care that he's missed a penalty today because he's worked and put a shift in for the team. Looks good, looks very good.
So Eddie Nketiah, who is an FA Cup winner from his time with Arsenal, came on in the final in 2020. Emiliano Martinez played in that final for Arsenal, if you remember. And Morgan Rogers is substituted for Daniel Marlon. So we only briefly saw Rogers playing in that central area.
Yeah, exactly, which we know he's effective anywhere, but in that little 10 role he seems to enjoy it, but not enough time.
Yeah, he's got pace and he's been effective. 3 goals in his last 5 appearances, Daniel Marlon, signed from Borussia Dortmund in January, played here in the Champions League final against Real Madrid last season for Dortmund. 2-0 Palace. Throw, Richards into the Villa penalty area. Pau Torres heads that away, headed away by Marlon on the edge of the box. His first touch comes out to Eza, and then excellent from Eza. Now Kamada, right-footed ball clipped in. Oh, Sarr with the header, he's put it wide. That could have been 3-0. Middle of the goal, he was twisting, so he was not facing the goal, but in twisting he headed it across the goal and wide.
Yeah, that should be 3. I mean, Sarr's only 8 yards out, really. He gets it all wrong. He gets up early, the ball's in behind him, and he can't adjust because he's in the air. Gets that all wrong. That should have been 3-0, and, you know, on the performance, they'd have deserved it.
Villa though now attacking with Ramsey. Matson's ball right across the 6-yard box, and that's up and over the top by Mitchell at the end, where he perpetrated that terrible miss in the first half. That was crucial. Corner.
Yeah, what a game he's having, by the way, as a left back, just doing a centre half's job there, clearing it over his own box.
Corner for Villa. Palace lead 2-0. We're into the last 10 minutes now. Into the near post. That's headed away. Comes out. Matty Cash. He hits the shot, but that was blocked by Wharton, who closed down Cash as he shot goalwards. The ball's still bobbing around. Head tennis on the edge of the Crystal Palace penalty area. And then Wharton wins it back on the halfway line. And Wharton is able to carry it forward. And now gives it out to the left-hand side. And then the shot from Nketiah! And straight at, via a deflection, Martinez, who just juggled it for a moment, and Munoz, who'd followed in there after being a part of that attack, couldn't get there. He was able to grab it, so it stays 2-0. Now Ramsey forward for Villa. Urgency now for Unai Emery's team. And then Watkins is well challenged by Lacroix. He's not done too much wrong. Maxence Lacroix, either.
No, he's been good as well. I mean, they've timed their challenges, and they've had to think, do I go to ground, do I not go to ground? A lot of the challenges have been in the box. One by Mateta, one by Lacroix there.
Yes, as the corner is taken short for Villa. Back to Cash. Now Tielemans curls it in. That one's headed up and away by Sarr, headed out to the edge of the area. Mitchell misses his kick, not for the first time today. And Villa have got it back. Tielemans to Maatsen. Villa trying to build the pressure, but they need a goal. In comes the cross, but Kamada was there to get a leg in the way, and it bounces behind over the hoardings towards all of those Villa flags draped over the fences. And Mitchell has actually sat down. I think he might have just twisted something when he went to kick that ball and missed it. So we're going to have a little stoppage.
Yeah, may have overstretched a little bit. Might be a little bit of cramp. I think he's holding his ankle, so he deserves a bit of a sit down. He's been outstanding today, Mitchell.
Yes, with the obvious exception.
Yes, of course.
However, he's made up for it in many other areas. So a stoppage now. So far, it's been almost perfect for Palace.
Yeah.
I mean, saying that, they could be winning by a country mile.
Yeah, I would agree in regards to the performance. I mean, obviously the Mitchell chance and the big man missing the penalty as well, Mateta, but I just believe this is very much a team performance. Nobody wants to be the star man. They're happy to just put a shift in for each other, and that's making the collective look incredibly strong.
And that is going to be the end of Tyrick Mitchell's afternoon, and he is on a yellow card as well, which might be. I don't think he's too badly hurt, as he's getting a slap of the hand from Oliver Glasner. So Crystal Palace can bring on a Champions League winner in the shape of the on-loan Ben Chilwell. Corner to Villa. Tielemans in, punched away by Henderson. A couple of yards off his goal line, the Palace keeper. Villa come again. Maatsen, Unai Emery, 5 yards out of his coaching area. It's almost trying to get onto the pitch, and then there's a foul by Kamada on Tielemans. That's a yellow card for the Japanese midfielder. But a free kick for Villa over here on the left-hand side. How long have we got? Well, we're in the 84th minute now, Dion.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it many times, but it's now or never for Villa. They need to get something. They need to get a strike on goal, a header on goal. It's going to be an inswing, I think, from Tielemans.
Aston
wide
Villa
out on the left-hand side, John.
Yep, on the left wing. Villa, 7 times winners of this great competition, but not for 68 years have they won it. And it looks very much as though it's getting away from them here. Free kick taken short. Maatsen swings it in and then headed away. Bailey is going to collect it over there on the far side in front of the Villa fans. Left-footed cross deep to the back post, headed across by Barkley, but stretching for it as he was beyond the far post. With that, he could only head it straight behind, and it's a goal kick to Crystal Palace, who are getting closer and closer.
Yeah, they are, and every ball that's gone into the Palace box today has been headed away by a defensive player. They've all put a shift in defensively, and when they go forward as well, they go forward at pace, and they bust a gut to go and support the man on the ball who's furthest forward. So they are putting a shift in to get this over the line.
Lines open for 6:06 to call and talk to Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike. We'll have the live interviews as well from down pitch side. 08085 909 693. Wrexham may well be celebrating promotion. They're 2-0 up on Charlton. If they win, Wrexham's promotion will be confirmed. Villa now 2-0 down here in the semi-final. Marlon receives it on the left. The shaven-headed Dutchman keeps his feet as he cuts in field. He looks to Cash. He finds Cash. Cash in the box on the right. Shoots right across goal through a crowd of players. They're Crystal Palace cheers that you can hear. Cheers of relief as the ball flashed through all of those legs and wide.
Yeah, I thought Villa might be actually created a better chance than that. I mean, Matty Cash uses from, I don't know, 15, 20 yards on the corner. At the edge of the 18, he's never hit the target. I thought it might have taken a deflection, but he misses the target by about 10 yards there. So if that's what Villa have got at the moment, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Oliver Glasner walks back through in between the advertising boards to the bench. Here he's going to bring on Will Hughes as well. In fact, it's going to be a double change. And Oliver Glasner, who, remember, won the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt a couple of years ago in the final against Rangers in Seville. Went to a penalty shootout, but he is a trophy-winning manager, and it looks as though he's going to have a crack in the FA Cup final. as the ball is played forward by Torres, but more Palace cheers. Maatsen can't reach that, and it's through for a goal kick. Yes, a double change with also for Villa Jefferson Lerma coming on, who will slot into the midfield. And so the changes, Eza, who will certainly be a contender for man of the match, I think. Eberici Eza with the opening goal that he scored. So Will Hughes and Lerma coming on for Eza and Adam Wharton. What about Eza's performance? In fact, I'm just looking at the screen, he has been named as the player of the match.
Yeah, he makes the game look so easy. He seems to glide around the pitch, he can use left foot and right foot. He's so composed under pressure as well, and as he's coming off the pitch he's getting high fives from all the bench. And Wharton again, another flawless performance from that young man. Got some talent, Palace have.
So he's packing the midfield now, Oliver Glasner, for the closing stages of this match as Palace try to see this through. And you know what will happen with regard to your old club Villa, Dion? People are going to talk about whether towards the end of this excellent season that they've had, whether they're running out of steam. But I think Palace today have just had their number. They've been the better team on the day in the semi-final.
I would agree. They have been the better side. They've been. I don't know what the plan was, and the last few words were. I mean, Pau Torres is now out on the left-hand side. He's played a ball forward to Bailey, and he's got it wrong 2 or 3 times. I think it was Ramsey actually. He's got that ball wrong. Give it to the midfield players. You're a centre half. Give it to your midfield players to play those passes. Don't force it. But that's the shape of Palace. Palace are forcing Villa to play a way they don't want to play.
And they certainly weren't running out of steam a week ago when they were excellent against Newcastle United. But they are 3 points behind Nottingham Forest, so that's going to be the target now, it seems, for Aston Villa to try and get back into the Champions League places and back into that competition next season, while Crystal Palace can start thinking about an FA Cup final again. First time for 9 years since the final in 2016 under Alan Pardew, when I remember sitting here in this box thinking they're going to win it when Punchin scored that goal, but Manchester United able to turn it around in extra time as Villa attack again, ball into the area, Lacroix clears in the box, Marlon tries to flip it up and shoot, but as he did so the Palace players converged on him and it was deflected through to Henderson, who was actually able to stop it from going out for a corner. So the Palace goalkeeper has got it in his hands. We're in the last minute now. The last minute, Palace getting closer and closer, and Oliver Glasner comes forward and raises his hands towards the Palace fans who've raised all of their blue and red flags in the lower section to our right, and they are now being waved and twirled in there as Henderson finally launches this downfield with his right foot, looking for Nketiah. Maatsen forward for Villa. 7 minutes of added time. That's enough time to score 2 goals, Dion.
It is, if you're going to create them. Pick out the right pass, create the right finish. It's not happened for Villa today. I'm not sure 7 minutes is enough.
2-0 to Crystal Palace. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693. There is a choice of listening again now on Sports Extra. The night of boxing has just gone on air, so Darren Fletcher is on there with the rest of the team, building up to obviously Ben Eubank, which is on 5 Live tonight when they switch across at 9:30. But yes, lines open for 606 08 085 909 693, and at some point during that I'm sure we'll hear from a very, very pleased Oliver Glasner. But Villa aren't quite done yet. Maatsen trips across field, gives it to Bailey. Bailey into the area, back to Maatsen, who's over there on the right, left-footed ball, across the penalty area. Marlon is able to head it forward. Villa still continue to press. Marlon, though, on the stretch, rather slashes at the pass and sends that out harmlessly from a Palace point of view for a throw-in, and we've already had over a minute of the 7 of added time.
Yeah, and as well as Palace have played in the central part of the pitch with their good passing and their retention in both boxes, they have been better. Defensively, they get to the ball first time every time. If there's a white shirt who's controlling the ball, he's under pressure. Players are converged on him. And in the other box, in Villa's box, they've got to it first, they've got their goals. They just seem to be a little bit sharper, Palace, in every department.
Palace on the back foot again. Oliver Glasner looks a little twitchy, but 2-0 up from this position, it should be Palace's day. And these are Palace songs that you're hearing, and I'm noticing lots and lots of empty red Wembley seats are appearing. Villa back to the halfway line. Ezri Konsa just moves it forward and then passes it out to the right-hand side. Low ball into Marlon, tried to flick it on, but Hughes was behind him. Marlon is making out that Lacroix fouled him, but he's going to have to get to his feet because Villa have got to go all out here. As I'm not sure what on earth Barkley was doing there. Took the ball away, turned to his right, and it ran off his foot straight out of play for a throw-in.
Yeah, he kind of panicked there. I think he was going to be under pressure from Kamada, but no, he was rushed into that decision there, and that's just, you know, it's the mindset of the Palace players. And I've said it already today, but the physicality of those one-on-one duels has been brilliant.
So it looks as though it's going to be Crystal Palace against either Nottingham Forest or Manchester City. That is at 4:30 tomorrow. We'll have that on Sports Extra. As Palace win it back, the ball is played through. Sarr's away from Konsa, and Sarr makes it 3-0 Crystal Palace, and that does it. Crystal Palace are coming back to Wembley for the FA Cup final. They've done a real job on Aston Villa here today, and 3-0 probably is a scoreline that they deserve.
Tonight, Sam Smith again with a deflected header at the near post. It's Wrexham 3, Charlton 0.
So it's going to be congratulations to Phil Parkinson and Wrexham again. They'll be in the Championship next season. Crystal Palace are going to be in the FA Cup final again next month, just 3 weeks today. We'll be back here, you'll hear it on 5 Live as Villa have a throw there on the far side. But now it's been a mass exodus from the Aston Villa half of Wembley Stadium, and Villa in possession, but it's got away from them here. It's another disappointment for them as Bailey takes it on down into the full-back position. Excellent footwork, but there he is again, Kamada. Eza's been named as the man of the match, but Kamada, brilliant from him to take it away now from Tielemans and then pass it forward from Munoz. And Munoz, you'd think it was the first minute, not the 7th minute of added time, and Munoz is able to get the ball into the box under pressure. But there it is, the final whistle goes, and this has comprehensively been Crystal Palace's day in the FA Cup semi-final. They've won 3-0 against Aston Villa. And what scenes of celebration here. They were the underdogs, but they are worthy winners, Dion Dublin.
Yeah, listen, I think Palace have just come into this game with the right mindset, with the right setup. Glasner's got it spot on. When they went together. When they defended together. Energy, strength. Every single man in a Palace shirt has had a 10 out of 10 game today. Mitchell outstanding. Eza's goal, brilliant. Sarr, the big man up top, Mateta. I just believe they were set up perfectly and they knew how to beat Villa. They've done it to the letter. They deserve their 3-0 win. Congratulations.
Yeah, Glasner's Crystal Palace at the end of last season won 5-0 against Aston Villa. This season they won 2-1 at Villa Park in the League Cup, so they've knocked them out of both cup competitions this season. In November in the league it finished 2-2 at Villa Park, and a couple of months ago at Selhurst Park Crystal Palace won 4-1. Oliver Glasner has certainly got something over Unai Emery.
Yeah, he has, and you know what, I can imagine now, Glasner's got the boys on the training ground. He showed them videos of Villa, showed them where their strengths are and their weaknesses are. They've worked on it, and they've worked on it, and they've listened. The players are on board. You can tell they're on board with Glasner, because every single one of them, when the final whistle went, is giving him a nice big hug as if to say, thank you, Gaffer, we listened, we'll listen to you again.
team in the FA Cup final. The only previous Austrian, incidentally, in case you were listening, was Paul Scharner, who played for Wigan in 2013, if you've been racking your brains. But it's the usual contrast between semi-final winners and semi-final losers. And for Villa now, Champions League quarter-final defeat, FA Cup semi-final defeat, and they've got work to do in the last 4 matches in the Premier League to get themselves into the top 5.
Yeah, and I've got to say, and I know it's late into the season, there's not many games left, but I've got to say Villa looked a little bit leggy. Palace looked incredibly sharp, out of possession, in possession. When they were out of possession, they got into their shape quickly, and when they were in possession, the speed at getting forward was outstanding.
Well, if you're a Palace fan, if you're a Villa fan, if you've already left Wembley, then 08085 909 693 to talk to us on 606 tonight, which is coming up very shortly after the news, or text 85058 or hashtag BBC 606. Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike will be along shortly. But Wrexham's promotion is almost confirmed, Adam Cottier.
A box office performance from Wrexham when it really mattered for them today. Given the opportunity by Wycombe's defeat at lunchtime, they have taken it. They lead 3-0, 2 goals from Sam Smith, either side of a great goal from Sam Smith. It is 3-0 to Wrexham here.
Thank you, Adam. Just looking for the latest Super League scores. Here they are. Catalan 14, Wakefield, Trinity 18, Salford 6, Lee 24. Dion, quick word on tomorrow's semi-final. Manchester City, Nottingham Forest. City clearly the favourites.
Yes, maybe on that piece of paper that they don't play football on, yes, they are the favourites. However, Forest will look at this game and they'll go, right, why can't it be our turn to get into a final? And Forest will attack this like Palace attacked it today. They've got every chance. 50-50 for me tomorrow.
Yes, there's Maxence Lacroix now really milking this, running across the pitch and twirling his arm around and punching the air for the Palace supporters to enjoy, skipping around and joining his teammates who are going on a half lap of honour around the Palace section of the stadium. Dion Dublin, thank you very much for your company this afternoon. Clinton Morrison will be in here with me tomorrow. 4:30 kick-off, Manchester City against Nottingham Forest will be on Sports Extra, because Liverpool-Tottenham will be on 5 Live with Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. So we'll have it all covered for you. Bournemouth-Manchester United as well from 2 o'clock. Let me also mention tomorrow morning, 10:30, the London Marathon will be underway on 5 Live. We'll keep you right across that, and good luck if you're involved in that. Colin Murray's programme will have the Great Football Songbook from 10:30. Weekend breakfast, we'll look forward to it all with Gordon Smart and Jane Dougal in the morning. And later tonight, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is your destination from 9:30 on 5 Live for the Eubank Ben fight, but it is on Sports Extra right now on your digital radio or via BBC Sounds. So that is the choice of listening, and Chris Sutton and Natalie Pike will be along with 606 after the news on 5 Live with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
John, thank you. Good evening. President Trump says there's no reason for Vladimir Putin to be targeting civilian areas in Ukraine, and he's questioned whether Russia really wants to end the war. Posting on his social media platform tonight, the US president suggested further sanctions on Moscow might be needed. Earlier, Mr. Trump had a brief meeting with President Zelensky while both were attending the Pope's funeral. The Ukrainian leader's spoken about the conversation in Rome.
I don't want to go to a lot of details, if it's possible, because the questions, very sensitive questions, on, of course, totally it's about how to bring peace closer and how was resultative, positive Paris and London, and we want to continue such meetings to bring peace to Ukraine.
Well, officials say 400,000 people were in Rome earlier for the Pope's funeral after an outdoor service in St Peter's Square. Pope Francis's coffin was taken through the city for a private burial. Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse, has died at her home in Western Australia. In a statement, her family said she'd been a fierce warrior in the fight against sexual abuse and that the toll of abuse became unbearable. Prince Andrew's always strongly denied any wrongdoing involving Miss Giuffre. They reached an out-of-court settlement in 2022 in which he paid an undisclosed amount of money to her. And Just Stop Oil has held its final demonstration in Parliament Square in London this afternoon. The group says it's achieved its goals because it's now government policy to stop issuing new oil and gas licences.
Liverpool are right on the brink now. On Sunday at Anfield against Tottenham, Liverpool